The galaxy had long been a place of conflict, expansion, and conquest, where empires rose and fell, leaving behind a trail of broken dreams and unfulfilled promises. Amidst the stars, there were many who lived in peace, but there were also countless beings who suffered at the hands of those who sought power and control. One such soul was a young alien orphan named Vela. She was the last of her kind, a race of beautiful and powerful beings that had once flourished across the galaxy. But a cruel war, one sparked by greed and political ambitions, had wiped out her people, leaving her as the sole survivor. Alone and abandoned, Vela found herself cast adrift in the void of space, her small shuttle floating aimlessly after a violent attack that destroyed her home world. Vela was no warrior, no great hero. She was just a child, a girl who had lost everything. The galaxy, vast and indifferent, offered her no refuge, no sanctuary. The few who saw her, those who were aware of her existence, simply passed her by. Her status as an orphan, a survivor of a destroyed species, made her a symbol of failure, a reminder of the futility of war. The cold reality was that no one wanted her. For years, Vela wandered from planet to planet, drifting from one forgotten outpost to another. She begged for food and shelter, but the galaxy had little mercy for an alien orphan. She wasn't seen as a victim. She was just another casualty of a war long forgotten, another lost soul in a galaxy filled with billions. As time passed, Vela's hope dwindled. She had seen so much suffering in her short life. She had seen entire civilizations fall, families torn apart, and the destruction of entire species. Yet, she never stopped longing for the love and care she had lost, the warmth of a family, the feeling of being wanted, of being loved. One day, while wandering a desolate mining colony on the edge of known space, Vela collapsed from exhaustion. She had gone without food for days, and her small frame had begun to show the signs of neglect. Her body was weak, her mind clouded by the hunger and the loneliness that gnawed at her heart. As she stumbled through the colony's dirty streets, she collapsed on the cold metal floor of an abandoned warehouse. There, as fate would have it, she was found by an old man named Arlo. Arlo was a grizzled mechanic, a man who had seen the worst the galaxy had to offer. He was old, his face lined with years of toil and regret, but his eyes still held the spark of life. He had once been a soldier, a man of action, but now he had long since turned away from the battles and the bloodshed of his youth. His only desire now was to live out his remaining days in peace, fixing ships and machines for anyone who could pay. When Arlo found Vela, he did not see her as a symbol of failure or a casualty of war. He saw a young girl in need of help. He could not bear the thought of leaving her behind, abandoned and alone. And so, without hesitation, he scooped her up, carrying her back to his small home on the outskirts of the colony. The first few days were difficult. Vela could not understand why this man had taken her in. She had grown used to being abandoned, to being cast aside. The idea of someone caring for her seemed almost impossible, a dream she had long since given up on. She resisted his kindness, pushing him away, fearful that he, too, would eventually leave her. But Arlo was patient. He did not pressure her or force her to trust him. Instead, he provided her with food, warm blankets, and the care she had never known. Slowly, the walls around Vela's heart began to crumble. She realized that Arlo was different. He did not look at her as a tool to be used, a resource to be exploited. He saw her as a person, as someone worthy of care and love. In his small home, Vela began to feel a sense of safety she had never known before. Arlo took her under his wing, teaching her how to fix machines, how to navigate the vast and dangerous galaxy. He showed her that she was not a lost cause, that she had value beyond her past. Under his tutelage, Vela learned to repair starships, to understand the intricacies of technology, and to use her intelligence and resourcefulness to make a difference in a galaxy that had long since forgotten the meaning of kindness. But as Vela grew stronger, so did the doubts in her mind. She began to wonder why Arlo had chosen to help her. What did he see in her? Why had he taken on the responsibility of caring for an alien orphan, a creature of no value to the wider galaxy? Was it pity, sympathy, or something more? One day, while working in Arlo's workshop, Vela asked him the question that had been weighing on her heart. "Why did you save me?" she asked, her voice trembling. Arlo looked up from his work, his expression softening. He set down the tool he had been using and walked over to her. "I saw you," he said simply. "I saw you for what you are, not for what the galaxy tells you to be. You are more than your past. You are a person, just like anyone else." Vela's eyes welled with tears as she looked at him. "But I'm nothing. I'm just an orphan. I have no family, no people, no home." Arlo smiled gently, placing a hand on her shoulder. "We all have our pasts, Vela, but that doesn't define us. What matters is what we choose to do with the time we have. You're not alone. You're with me now, and that's enough." Vela realized in that moment that Arlo had not just saved her physically. He had saved her spirit. He had given her something she had never thought possible, a future. As the years passed, Vela grew into a strong young woman. She learned to navigate the stars, not as an orphan, but as a daughter of Arlo, who had given her the family she had lost. She had found a place in the universe, and though her journey had started in loneliness and despair, it had ended in love and purpose. And though the galaxy still moved on, with its wars and its endless cycle of conquest, Vela no longer saw herself as a victim. She was no longer a forgotten orphan. She was a survivor, and more than that, she was someone's daughter. Her story was one of survival, yes, but more importantly, it was a story of love, compassion, and the power of choosing to care for those who seem lost. For in the end, it wasn't the stars or the vastness of the galaxy that defined her. It was the love of an old man who had seen her for who she truly was. And as she looked out at the galaxy from Arlo's workshop, Vela knew that she had finally found her place among the stars.